What is going on, hockey fans? Welcome back to episode 18 of Lightin the Lamp. I'm your host, Dola, and with me, as always, is my co-host from the East Coast, JG. How we doing, pal?
The usual, bud. Another, coming off a double here. Got canceled last night. Got to have a few beers, watch a little football. Got to see Danny Dimes do his thing, move the feet around there. Big Giants fans as well as obviously Ranger fans. So it was nice to see some of the young guns moving around. Obviously, the Giants still suck. O-line, garbage can. Didn't work out too well last night, but just hanging in there, trying to enjoy the what's coming here, which is the fall, because it's about 60 degrees today here in New Jersey. 1 week after Labor Day, and summer has ran for the hills. So I'm sure you're enjoying the sunshine there in California, but looks like those days are gone for the Jersey boys. So just, a little gloomy here, but excited to talk some hockey with you, pal.
Excited to talk hockey with you. We definitely got a couple incredible series to go ahead and discuss. Watch the Giants game. It was a little hard because I had the Knights Dallas game on, and I was just kind of flopping back and forth. But I was mostly focused on hockey last night with a little intermission of football thrown in there. It's just because obviously we're a little bit partial to the G-men and the boys in blue. Obviously, just like the Rangers, we believe in blue, and that translates to football too. So
that is for sure.
So, let's kick things off just like everything else here at Lightin the Lamp. We like our traditions, and part of our traditions is just doing a little bit of beer drinking for any of the fans who haven't tuned in yet. So, Dola here is going to be putting back a nice 24-ounce tall boy of Budweiser out of Das Boot again, and got her bubbling, got her ready. We're going to go ahead here, light the lamp. I know JG's got a Heineken over there. You got anything else on tap for us? Or
A little disappointed in the recent Spittin' Chicklets acquisition of Budweiser USA. I mean, wouldn't say disappointed, excited for the boys. Plenty of ad reads, though. I mean, as if they don't make enough money. I mean, Whitney, you made 50 sheets in the show. It's enough now. Share some with the paying customers. We're trying out here, hoping the Chicklets boys have been hearing our cry for the goal lamp, and here he goes again. Here he goes again. Budweiser, maybe one day you'll pay attention.
Let's go. But we got to light this lamp up real quick, so we're going to get it going here. All right? Let's do this. Cheers.
Oof. That's an early one. 8:30 a.m. California AA time. That's a start to the day. Don't let your boss watch this episode.
No, we don't upload until after 5 p.m.,
Fair enough.
But beer in the books, boot in the books. Let's start talking hockey. And, I think we have to go right into it, JG. We have to go right into the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Dallas Stars. Series ended last night, and holy shit, what a finisher, huh? How about you kick us off on this one?
You heard me all for the last, 6, 7, 18 episodes. I don't know that Vegas is a world beater. I've been saying it since the first game of the round robin. Vegas is a world beater. Apparently, I didn't listen to my own tune. Obviously I was big on the Dallas Stars after last season. I mentioned it a bunch of times. We keep forgetting that they took the Stanley Cup champion to 7 games in overtime. And Dallas could have probably been the eventual Stanley Cup champion last year. So, counted them out. Obviously, with the break, a lot of older players. I just really didn't see it coming together. But, wow, man. Kivaranta, key
dude.
To the series. We'll get into him a little more, obviously. But, just look at the big guns. Radulov, huge OT winner. Bringing the intensity and you just see the smile on his face. Loves to play hockey. The whole team is just – even Corey Perry, he's acting like a kid out there. After they scored last night, his face, if you watch the replay on the goal, he's headed for the goal. He's headed for Khudobin so fast that the goal didn't even go over the goal line yet, and he's already face, inhalation, ready to go. They look like a bunch of kids out there. The fact that Seguin has played good but has contributed offensively basically at a zero clip. and they're doing what they're doing, watch out for the cup, because if he turns it on, well, what does this team look like? I mean, you got Heiskanen, you got Essa Lindell, you got Klinkberg. I mean, Heiskanen is going to be a top 3 defenseman in the league, possibly the next Victor Hedman. You're going to see him face off against Victor Hedman, possibly, if we could get a W tonight here versus the Islanders. Just a scary combination of size, skill, talent. They're like the Monstars. They remind me of that LA Kings team that did beat the Rangers. Didn't necessarily think Vegas should have lost the series. I thought a lot of these games, they outplayed Dallas. Most of them through 2 periods, Vegas was out shooting Dallas 20-6, 20-7. But Khudobin proved huge, and Dallas finds ways to score when they need to. Bottom line, I mean, Kiviranta, hat trick. You get the game tire the other night, a goal from Ben Gorianov, been scoring all playoffs, just an absolute sniper. I'm just impressed. Just impressed. Really thought they were going to win the series, but obviously, but wow. Dallas in 5. I had Vegas in 7. We have Dallas in 5.
I called Vegas in 6. I mean, what a shit of the bed that was, right? I mean, obviously Dallas just responded just in kind and just with vengeance. And honestly, it's crazy just because you look back at all those games that Dallas won 1-0. Then the Knights come back and respond 3-0, and then the Dallas gets a huge win. Radulov with the OT winner to actually take the series to 2-1, but still 1-goal game. Next game, Dallas wins 2-1, 1-goal game, and then Dallas again in Game 5, 1-goal game in OT. Everything was super tight, like you said. Vegas Golden Knights out shooting the Stars almost every game, except for really Game 1 when it was like 25-26. It was kind of evened up in the first game, but after that, I think the Knights ran away with it.
The factor was, I mean, in my opinion, as a hockey guy, third period. I mean, obviously we know third period make and break teams. First period too, a lot of the time. I mean, the whole game is important. 60 minutes is obviously what everybody preaches. We got to play a 60-minute game. We got to play a 200-foot game. It's about the total game, but let's be honest. I mean, Dallas dominated third period play, games 1 through 5. They won the third period every game, and that's how they won the series. You win that final period. And obviously these playoff games are all tight and low scoring. And, you had Leonard standing on his head, Khudobin standing on his head. So when the goals are hard to come by, it's going to be – that final period is going to be everything. That final period is the game when you're playing 1-1 and 0-0 and 2-2 games, night in and night out. That third period is like sudden death.
Yeah, and I got to say, hats off to the Dallas Stars, because I got to say, I would say out of every other team, if you wanted to give someone an excuse to maybe not do as well in the bubble, the Dallas Stars were the team to do it. Because for all the fans out there that don't know it, the Dallas Stars fired their head hockey coach back in December, right before the new year, just because he had
like shit.
It wasn't that. He had some personal issues. The guy was a drunk, right? He checked into rehab. I mean,
for other reasons, but they weren't playing great either.
Right. So, they're not playing great. They got a stud team. They're stacked all the way through. The coach, he's having his issues, coming in drunk. The players aren't responding, and Dallas fires their coach. And then think about that. They fired him on December 10th. You go into basically Christmas, into just like the Winter Classic games, kind of into the All-Star break, come back with your assistant coach.
Let's look at a team who floundered here. I pulled up the stats for you.
Rick Boas, he was the assistant coach,
and then back in the day somewhere.
Yeah, he's been around the league. He was with Tampa Bay as an assistant coach for a long time, and with a lot of great organizations just around the league. So it's not like this guy doesn't know hockey. The whole Dallas Stars coaching staff has plenty of experience, but just think about like when you don't have like that, the Pete DeBoer or the Barry Trotz or the Joe Quenneville's. Like, you don't have this, like, top-tier name head coach, John Tortorella, and then all of a sudden your coach gets fired. Now you have an assistant head coach, and now you're going into a lockdown break, and then after that you're going into a bubble situation that's never happened in hockey, and the boys responded.
With a team that, let's be honest, I'm looking at the stats right now, so don't mind me blinking off, but, I mean, if you look at a team that's stacked, that literally Jamie Benn had 39 points this season. in 69 games. That's unheard of. Jamie Benn's a point-a-game guy. Tyler
Correct.
Seguin, 50 points, 69 games. Miro Heiskanen, obviously young, eight goals, 27 assists, 35 points. Pretty nice campaign, 68 games as a rookie, as a younger defenseman. But Radulov, same thing, 15 goals, 34 points. I mean, watching him play now, you would have thought he was a 60-point guy. So, I mean, the turnaround, even Corey Perry, 5 goals, 16 assists, 21 points. Pretty sure he's got over 5 goals for the playoffs.
Again,
So,
what happened like to this team before this
you know,
situation
it's
to
like
then like going into this and
a total turnaround. I mean, but what I can say is we all didn't understand what went on with the Kudobin situation. Nobody can figure out why he's so good. But now that I go back and look at his season, I mean, he did play 30 out of 74 games. So he played almost a little less than half the load, but he was a committee goaltender. He was 16, 8, and 4, and he had 3 assists. Guy can handle the puck. You know, nice record, 16, 8, and 4 on the season. Obviously, 8 games over 500. And a 9.30 save percentage, higher than Ben Bishop on the season. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of us just didn't pay attention to him all that much this year, but he was having a stellar year to begin with.
he's been around the league, right? Khudobin has spent time in Boston, the Kings. I think he spent some time in Washington. He's kind of he's been that one goaltender. I feel like not exactly like Fleury, right? Because Fleury went in the expansion draft. He might be traded again. He's like that. He's just a survivor. He's one of those really solid goaltenders that, again, like he's been to the cup before, but always as a backup, right? Like he's always behind Holtby, behind somebody else. And it's never him being the star. And he said, you know what, for it to be now my shot, my time, guys taking it. And you know what? It's all about being opportunistic. You got an opportunity, don't waste it. Don't go out there and blow it, because this is the NHL. This is the Stanley Cup. And just like what Pete DeBoer said, it's just like this is the hardest trophy in sports to win. And especially this year, because guess what? You have not 16 games this year, which is normally what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. It was more. If you had a play-in round like what Dallas had, you had to go out there and win 19 games, right? So a little bit different, a little bit harder this year, but how the boys are responding with an interim head coach right now, and just with that veteran leadership stepping up, some young guys like my favorite player on that team, Yoel Kiviranta, stepping in where Sagan's
Rupe Hintz guy. I love this Rupe Hintz. He's an animal, man. He's like a bowling ball out there.
Excellent
20
hair.
Been a great, absolutely great addition. And then you got your boy, Kiviranta, who is also from Finland, just like Rupe Hintz, a fellow countryman, and Miro Heiskanen. A lot of Finns on this team, a lot of really good Finns. Let's be honest. Kiviranta, 11 games, 1 goal, 4 PIMs to start off the NHL career. Looks like a bubble guy for now. And steps up. What has he got? 6, 7 playoff games played, 4 goals. He's got an apple, I believe.
Yeah, he has 5. He has 5 points, and honestly, just think about it. I
4
know
goals,
3
4 goals,
points
1
came in
assist.
one game. 3 points came in one game, and it was, but again, against the Colorado Avalanche, right?
Just scored a game-tying goal to
Biggest.
Go on to win a series against Vegas.
Twice.
I don't care. He's scoring in times of need. That 3-goal game wins the game in overtime. Has 2 goals in a tie game. Has 2 goals in a game that goes to overtime. So a contributor of epic proportions at epic moments. I mean, you don't find players like that at a young age that just step in and they're contributing here, they're contributing there. I contribute in game 3. I contribute again in game 6. But when I'm doing it in the most amazing. It's just epic. The moments he's doing it in are just every child hockey player's dream. Obviously, he said it in his interview a couple nights back. He comes in, he scores a hat trick.
Like, in his first playoff game ever, in the first game 7 ever, and sticks the heart in Nathan McKinnon. Sticks the knife in his chest.
Against my Western Conference Goliath. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be – everybody thought it was going to be Colorado versus Las Vegas. I mean, let's be honest. Las Vegas makes it to the Eastern Conference Final, and Dallas comes in, and they just tell everybody to shove it up your ass, sandpaper finish, because nobody believed in them. And, boy, just impressive all the way around, man. I mean, I could look at the lineup. Even Sagan, not a lot of points, but he's playing good hockey. He's playing hard. No,
He's probably one of the best at faceoffs right now. Like you see him like line up, like he is taking care of the puck on both sides of the ice. He's blocking shots.
Joe Pavelski, 14 goals during the regular season. If he keeps on, he might have 14 goals in the fucking playoffs.
He might win the Conn Smythe if Dallas wins the cup.
I don't know if Dallas wins the cup and
he has a shot. If it's not Khudobin, it has to be Khudobin.
Then the league, there's something rigged somewhere in the league because
if Pavelski goes off in the Stanley Cup, I think he's got a shot. It's him and Khudobin from the Dallas Stars. That's just it.
Khudobin wasn't the fucking goaltender in this series. Vegas wins that series in 6.
You think Benny B couldn't even handle it? Guy's 6'8". He's still got a shot at it.
I just think that Khudobin is playing on a different level at this moment. When a team wins the cup, there's just certain pieces that are playing on a level that nobody else has. And right now, Khudobin, even to me, they play
look at every cup team for the last years. Binghamton stood on his fucking head. The year before that, Holtby stood on his freaking head. What year before that?
You're gonna have this year.
Take a look at every single year. Jonathan Quick back in 2014, 2015 stood on his fucking head. The goaltender needs to be on fire. It's like a quarterback in football. If they play like shit, you're fucked.
If Tampa Bay goes to the cup, you're gonna see probably one of the best 1-for-1 goaltending battles in a real. I mean, obviously, Quick versus Lundqvist was pretty damn fucking good.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. But I mean, you're about to see the two hottest goaltenders by far in the NHL in Vasilevsky and Khudobin. If that happens, if the Islanders don't win tonight, you're going to see probably the 1 and 2 goaltenders in the playoffs play against each other, and you're going to see two high-powered offenses that maybe aren't going to score as much for the first time. So we're going to see who can kind of sustain that. I think if that's the cup that you get, who can sustain the goaltending being so good that the Sagans and the Stamkoses and the Points and the Kucherovs and the Bens of the world aren't scoring. I think you could kind of see a series where maybe there's not a lot of scoring if we get that for the cup.
I don't know. Stamkos was skating today, dude. Again, you bring him back for this last series. I have no idea how Khudobin stops him.
I think that the Islanders are going to make it interesting tonight. Obviously, we're going to head into that series any second here, but I think the Islanders are going to make it interesting tonight. I pray that they do because I don't want hockey to end yet. I'm not interested in football as much as it's all right. I mean, the basketball, I haven't turned on a single minute. I'm not an NBA guy.
As hockey pod guys, listen, there's enough of you basketball creators out there. There's enough of you football creators out there. Okay, we're filling the niche. We're hockey boys at heart. Okay, we don't want anything else in our life other than hockey.
Yeah,
and I hear you.
You need to watch. I mean, I'll watch it. It's a sport, but even baseball, whatever. I'm a big Yankee fan, but other than the Yankees not turning much on. So I'm a fan of more hockey. This is what I am. So praying that the Islanders can squeeze one out here tonight and maybe squeeze one out here in Game 6 because I love nothing more than a Game 7.
I think the Islanders, interestingly enough, I know that Tampa is just like, Tampa is going to beat you by scoring goals. Like they're going to beat
the bounces right now is the bottom line. I mean, let's get into that series. Obviously,
what I was going to say is that I think if the Islanders were somehow able to just like climb this Everest, come back, win it, it would be probably one of the most defensive, like probably best technical games between Dallas and the Islanders that probably has ever happened.
NHL will take a massive dive in ratings if we're watching.
Can't have that happen. Can't let the ratings go down.
Level, if you're watching Tampa Bay and Dallas, like that, you're going to see a big physical defensive force with high-end offensive talent, and you're going to see a Tampa Bay team that is just loaded from D6 to center 1. There's not a bad player on the team. There's not a player who's a liability any night of the week. There's not a player you have to worry about being a minus guy. Like
I was a little bit excited. I'm not going to lie. And I know we're about to get into the Tampa Bay Islanders. We kind of are a little bit. I was going to be pretty excited to see like the Blake Coleman, the Barkley Goodrow, and the Yanni Gord line go against Alex Tuch, Chandler Stevenson, and just like that third line. I thought that was going to be some of the best third line battles And maybe, you know, even on, like, think about it. You got Kiwi Rant on the third line. I think you got Blake Como. And there's one other player that's escaping my mind. I don't it's not great. I can't think about who's on the third line for the wing on Dallas. It's going to be a good third line matchup as well. But I really got to say, out of everything that I'm excited about on this on Tampa Bay is when they go to if they go to the Cup, whether it be tonight or in Game 6 or Game 7, we definitely expect Tampa Bay to go to the Cup. I'm excited about that third line, and I'm excited to see what they can do kind of moving forward because I think they're the difference maker in this series by far. Because you got the first line in Kucherov and Point putting in points. They're doing what the top line needs to do, but that third line is the full difference maker in this series. Whereas, you know,
I've been talking about how the Islanders are deep down the middle, and they are, but like now, see, I take a look at daily faceoff right now. This is minus Stamkos, and with other injuries, your first line in Tampa Bay is Braden Point, Kucherov, and Palat tonight.
It's incredible. It's literally incredible.
Then your second line, which when
Cirelli,
Stamkos is skating today, you have
Tyler
Cirelli,
Johnson.
and Johnson. Think about the fact that Cirelli bumps down to C3, Stamkos slides into C2, and then now Yanni Gord now goes down to C4. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you shitting
Yanni
me?
Gord is the third line center right now. Barkley Goodrow, Blake Coleman, and Yanni Gord.
I love that line, dude. I literally love that line.
Let's be honest. Now, when I mean, maybe Cirelli goes to C4, but I just don't see it.
I don't see it.
Stamkos
He's a big body. They need it. They want his physical presence with those.
That is going to be just – I mean, you might even have to leave the centers as is and bump a Killorn or it's like impossible. Like, what do you do? How do you have three lines that fit together that you don't piss somebody off and put them on the fourth line? Because let's be honest, you're not
because they know Steven Stamkos is one of the greatest hockey players in the freaking league at any given time.
Kucherov and Palat. You're not going to break up Johnson and Killorn. You might take Cirelli out of the middle. So that
I think you do.
That puts Stamkos there, right? So you think you break up Killorn and Johnson?
Yeah, absolutely. Good, dude. Steven Stamkos has had just as much chemistry.
Who do you send to the fourth line? You're gonna put Killorn or Johnson on your fourth line?
You've got to put Yanni Gord on that fourth line. I think, unfortunately.
Or do you make the Gord line the fourth line?
I think you make them the fourth line, and you kind of mix it up.
You go Killorn, Maroon, and Cirelli.
Oh my God!
Great, wow, that's a fourth line of a century. Killorn, Maroon, and Cirelli as your fourth line going to the Stanley Cup.
Dude, that's a better bruising line than Vegas even had. That is between Carrier and Reeves. That is a bruiser of a line. Killorn literally almost put out Brock Nelson.
Luke Schenn probably goes scratch. He comes out of the lineup unless he goes to D. Because he's playing on the.
Well, they could run 7D, carry one extra. I'm pretty sure in the bubble if they don't want to carry that third 10D, you know. And I'm sure they're fucking doing that.
Take a look now. We didn't even get to that. I mean, I'm gonna go in now that we're doing rosters. I'm gonna go into the Islanders roster next. But I mean, let's take a look at your defensive pairings: Victor Hedman and Kevin Shattenkirk, Mikhail Sergachev and Eric Cernak, Studley.
I love Sergachev. He is fucking great.
Ryan McDonough and Zach Bogosian is your 3P, your third pairing. That is just – that's on another level, dude. I mean, I don't see –
Ryan McDonough was a number one overall defenseman for the Rangers for how many years, right?
We've been talking about this Tampa Bay team winning a cup for probably 5 years now.
Yeah.
If they don't win this year –
I don't see it happen.
I don't know if that ever happens. I don't know if it ever happens.
I don't know what their salary cap situation's like, and we'll have to look at that.
Take a look. You're going to have to look at their cap situation, but I mean, there's no way you're keeping
all that talent.
Barkley Goodrow, Blake Coleman. Pat Maroon was a one-year deal pickup. Blake Coleman picked up at the deadline running out of a contract. Barkley Goodrow, another one. I don't think he's got years left on his deal either. Another guy we picked up from San Jose. So you're looking at just that. Cirelli has to get signed. That's why they're talking about possibly trading him to the Rangers. You still got Point got signed. You got Palat's going to have to get paid.
Tampa's either honestly, in my eyes, and this is a hot take here. This is a hot take. hold on, hot take. I either think Tampa trades Stamkos or Cirelli. It's either or. They cannot
It's
keep
not.
fucking both of them.
I think if you're watching how good you're playing right now,
You
why
don't need
wouldn't
them.
you need to
Get
trade
rid
your
of
fucking
Stamkos, unfortunately.
I mean, look what the Islanders did. They let fucking Tavares take a hike, and now look at where they are.
They're so much better off.
Without him, they're better without him. They're better without. Listen, that and honestly, you're kind of seeing every time Stamkos gets hurt, they play incredible without him.
They're fine.
It's almost like their chemistry just doesn't fit another guy of that skill level. They have Point, they have Kucherov. It's almost like that skill level. It's just too much of it. You have to have like your A+ guys, your A- guys, your B+ guys, your B- guys. Like there has to be a fit.
In any sport with a salary cap, you can't just go out and buy the best, right? You have to have a blend of, players that are just different.
I
They
think
fill a
right
niche, they fill a
now,
lane.
man, I'm looking at your offensive group, and if you move Stamkos, you could keep probably every single person on this list.
To the Rangers. Cheap.
I'm good on that, bro. Listen, I'm done with the fucking late age, 30-year-old
Veterans.
Dude, we've been doing it for 100 years. Panarin, big pickup, 27 years old. If you're over 27, I don't want you.
Carl Hagelin's over. He's almost, I think he's 31, and I would take Carl Hagelin, right?
Tim, you're talking about a 1C. This isn't even a comparable conversation. You're talking about a 1C at $10 million a year and a 4C/wing at $1.5 million a year. Like, I'll take Hagelin at 34 years old. He's got wheels. He's a great fourth liner. We're talking about your top six. You can't sign $11 million 30-year-old in your top six because you already have Panarin, who's turning 28. He's on the latter side of his prime. 28 to 32 is probably his last 4 years. So you're already into a 7-year deal there that I love for now. And maybe because he came to the league so late, maybe he lasts longer than we know. Who knows? But let's be honest. I mean, if you're going to go out as the Rangers and make a trade, now that we're turning the Eastern Conference preview into Rangers talk, sorry, ladies and gents, to see how much we love our boys in blue. But, let's finish what we're saying here. If you're going to bring a guy in like that, it's going to have to be a 26, 27-year-old guy. You're going to have to go to a team like an Arizona Coyotes or somebody who doesn't look to be going anywhere anytime soon and find yourself a young, up-and-coming 1 or 2C.
Arizona needs draft picks now, too, because they got screwed.
If I'm the Rangers, I'm going after more of a maybe like an Ekman Larson, or I'd like to get somebody more physical maybe, but the D still needs shoring. So for me, up front, after grabbing Lafreniere and maybe signing a couple veteran pieces, I don't see really much of a need up front as I do to shore up the back end.
Listen, we need the third and fourth line to be shored up, and Ron Cooper did the same thing. Ron Cooper, coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've gone, as we've said, they've gone to the playoffs 5-6 years in a row. They've always been thought as a favorite. They've always been thought as a powerhouse, and he's known that he's lost every single year because he doesn't have that third and fourth gritty line that can literally barrel, bang you down, wear you down, first and top line all day. And not only that, your third and fourth line have to produce points. If they produce no points, you are not winning the Stanley Cup. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. No, and that is what we're seeing.
They absolutely need a third, but they don't need much down there.
You
can get what you need down there. It's not very hard to go get a Carl Hagelin or
Pat Maroon. Pat Maroon was honestly in Goodrow and Pat Maroon were two phenomenal pickups. Phenomenal pickups.
If I'm the Rangers, I'm watching Tampa Bay, just like they always watched us and stole from us.
New York Lightning.
And I'm going to go, and if I'm the Rangers, hot take, you got to be an asshole. If you don't have something under your sleeve to go get a Ryan Reeves or somebody of that style of play, if we don't sign Pat Maroon, I'd be really aggravated. I mean, let's be honest. 1 year, $2 million for a guy who's scored 20 goals in the fucking NHL before.
Yeah.
The guy can score, and you could put him on your fourth line. He could play with the Brett Howdens, and maybe he shows a guy 6'2", 200 pounds, Brett Howden. He's not a small body, how to really bang and be a fourth liner. I mean, we don't have a lot of teachers left. We got rid of a lot of our teachers. And, I mean, Chris Kreider is not going to teach Brett Howden how to be a fourth liner.
No.
So, I mean, let's be honest. If you're the Rangers, let's get off that topic, though, because we're going to just go into a whole nother realm of.
No, I mean, again, it's all based. A lot of it's again based upon like what you said, right? There's a lot of rumors going around. A lot of the rumors are about the Rangers eyeing the talent on Tampa. Tampa has a cap space that isn't going to work out with the squad they have now. They have a win now team, and they're proving it in every sense of the word.
Rangers, I'm going after Yanni Gord all day long. Give me Yanni Gord and Patrick Maroon, like sign and trade. Maroon. Give me Yanni Gord, and I'll send you fucking, I don't know, Nils Lindquist and a first. Give me something.
Until we trade for Yoel Kiviranta and I buy his jersey.
Stop with your BS. Listen, guys like that do well on small market teams like that. Yeah,
I know. It's all
I'm not saying he would be a bad Ranger. Maybe he comes to the Rangers, he scores 30 goals. I mean, I can't.
Dude, I'm expecting Kravtsov to do exactly what this kid did, right? Like we have the talent already there.
I'm expecting us to package Kravtsov.
Okay.
Well,
again, we're back on the Rangers, but so let's talk about the Islanders. We're going into, I mean, really we're singing the praises of the Tampa Bay Lightning. We love the roster. We love everything that they're going. 4 lines, 3 deep.
Probably the best team I've seen in the last 15 years of my life on a piece of paper. Obviously, there's no accolades behind that. They haven't won a cup, so there are better the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Blackhawks. But on a piece of paper, from depth and signings from 1C all the way to 4C and from 1D all the way to 7D, I don't think, and even goaltending, I mean, your one goalie is above and beyond anything you have underneath it. But let's be honest, probably the nicest sheet of roster paper that I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
it's a good call. In your lifetime. I don't know. I think we forget because, again,
we're going to go off topic with this conversation. But
real quick, I mean, again, our favorite hockey teams of all time, Colorado Avalanche in my time, I still will never let that go, right?
Those 9 teams, I know what you're talking about. But I just don't see that piece. Like what in your last 15 years of hockey viewership, have you ever seen a deeper roster?
No. I think, like
I've seen rosters with a piece on the first line, second line, third line, and fourth line, but this is a roster with 12 unbelievable forwards, 6 unbelievable D, and an unbelievable goaltender. There's not one hole or one guy that you're worried is going to be on the ice for a minus. They all do the same thing. From Kucherov down to Yanni Gord, they all do the same thing. They all are bought in. They all play a system. They all play the whole ice. Yeah, sometimes you get your Kucherov slacking a little bit on his way back. Very rare. You're not seeing it in the playoffs. I mean, I haven't seen, in my opinion, in my last 15 years, a piece of paper that shows me what this Tampa Bay roster shows me.
Sure. I think, if you were going to take in Vegas, Colorado, like if you took Colorado on paper right now, no injuries, I think they match up. I think
they're close, but I think they have a lot of unproven third and fourth liners, whereas Tampa Bay has guys that were on first lines on other teams. Blake Coleman.
And have done it for 5 years.
Was a first liner for 2 years in New Jersey and a first power play guy. He's now a third, fourth line guy, and he's still contributing.
I watched Pat Maroon for how many years in Anaheim, playing for the Ducks as a stud. He was. I walked around the pond, and everyone had a Maroon jersey. I can tell you that right now.
Because he does everything. But this is the thing that Tampa Bay went out and did. They went out and found guys who have been on first lines, who have been on fourth lines, who are willing to play on either, who maybe weren't supposed to be a first line guy. Pat Maroon fell into a situation in Anaheim where they were on the downswing a little bit. He was an everyday player. He played top 6 minutes. If he was on a team that was going to the Cup, he probably wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? But Tampa Bay has the wherewithal to go out and realize, hey, Blake Coleman probably wouldn't be a first liner on any other team, but he just played first line minutes for a season and a half, played on the power play, played on the penalty kill, he was a huge piece of the Devils winning any game at all over the last 2 years. Let's go grab that guy to be on our fourth line because he still costs nothing. And we're smart enough to realize, we're going to give up a first-round pick, but we have a guy who plays first-line minutes playing on our fourth line. They did the same signing Maroon 1 year, 1 million and change. I mean,
And it's proven because like you go get a first round player in the NHL, he might not be worth anything for 3 to 4 years. Unfortunately, not Alexis Lafreniere. So fans don't get too jumpy by me saying that. But like for everybody else, like there might be you get a first round pick, he goes to the AHL for a couple years. He then comes up and maybe the first picks 1 through 5, but if you pick 15, you might not see that player for a little bit. And, you know, even like look at the Islanders. Let's get into the Islanders. Like you look at the Islanders and you look at Beauvillier, you look at Brock Nelson, you look at Matt Barzal.
5 years down the line.
4 or 5 years down the line, they are incredible. But
Brock
their
Nelson
first year.
Bro, they've been waiting for Brock Nelson for as long as Kreider. He's not even young. He's like 27. They've been waiting for him for 6-7 years to develop. Anders Lee was supposed to be this big
stud
piece, and
first
he finally is, but it took him till he was 28 to turn it turn it off.
So now you look at what Tampa did. They give out a first round pick because they know that's 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 years out from being an absolute
They
just
know they're
weapon.
going to be in the middle of a
and they know they're going to be
and
they know that they need to win a Stanley Cup now. And they did exactly that. And you know what? That's fine because look at what the Islanders have. And let's talk about the Islanders. You know, they got rid of Tavares. We already brought up.
Here. Do me a favor for the fans here. Pull up. I'm on Daily Faceoff. I have the Islanders, and this is no disrespect to the Islanders. I have the Islanders roster on Daily Faceoff. I'll pull up Daily Faceoff, put up the Tampa Bay Lightning's roster. We're gonna go through the Islanders roster first. So if you want to have that up, have it up. We'll talk about the Islanders for a few minutes. But then we're going to go side by side, and I'm going to go first line, you're going to go first line. I'm going to go second line, you're going to go second line. And then just that's all I'm trying to explain is when you look at it from a paper standpoint, which that doesn't always mean anything at all. I mean, it's just not even comparable. And you could do it with every team in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
And again, I don't know if like even the goaltending, right? Like the goaltending just is just an absolute mismatch. I mean,
obviously, listen, they've gotten great goaltending through the playoffs, but let's be honest, like Vasilevsky versus Varlamov, like you're talking about a guy who's 25 years old, who's been to a conference final, who's been in the playoffs every year of his career, who's won 40 and 50 regular season games versus a guy who was great early on in his career, floundered for the last 5 or 6 years, found a home in New York this year, kind of like Leonard did last year. And it's not really even comparable. Even if he stands on his head, Vasilevsky playing mediocre is a better goaltender.
Yeah, and Vasilevsky's probably one of the best puck handlers in the entire NHL. He controls rebounds, everything.
But yeah, look at the Islanders roster. It's great. Matt Barzal, probably one of the guys that didn't take 5 years to
JJ, we really don't need to get into it anyway because I'm looking at this roster and again, like I feel like you and I have both fallen in love. I've fallen in love a little bit with the Islanders team just watching Beauvillier, Bailey, Eberle, Lee, Barzal.
I love the Nelson.
Joe lighting it up. They're lighting the lamp. Like, let's be honest. They are lighting the lamp. But
even your fourth line, bro. Ross Johnston, Derek Brassard, Leo Komarov. Not a bad fourth fucking line, bro. Leo Komarov was a second liner on Toronto 2 years ago. Ross Johnston, young, up and coming, just not a roster that compares just yet. It just doesn't compare.
I
like a little IPA.
I think that, you know, again, this team, I'm excited about the Islander team. They haven't been here long enough, done it long enough, just like Tampa has.
My only problem is a lot of their main pieces are in Tampa. They're like a revolving door. They let guys go and they let their guys come up, and that's why you find the Yanni Gourds and the Sorellis because they don't look at the like Jordan Eberle. Tampa Bay would have let go of Jordan Eberle 3 years ago. The Islanders re-sign him. He works for them, but the system is just that much better in Tampa Bay right now. I mean, obviously the Islanders system is working now. The Rangers system is working now. Tampa Bay's system has been working for a decade, and that's why you're seeing guys come up from the Syracuse Crunch and put up 40 goals their rookie season.
Hey, man, Yzerman built that temple, and listen, like it's almost like the Patriots, right? Like they never re-sign players after their rookie contract. They let everybody walk, and then they re-sign studs.
And the guys that they re-signed after their rookie contract were special. Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, Hedman, Vasilevsky, special. Every single one of those players is special. They're not good. They're not great. They're special. They're a superstar. You know what I mean? And you don't win a Stanley Cup without the guys like that on your team. So I don't. He did some job, man. I can't believe he's not there.
No, I mean, he went back home, man. He went to Detroit. He has to rebuild that franchise, and it's going to be great.
He did in Tampa Bay and Detroit. Like, if Tampa Bay wins the Cup this year and you're Yzerman, you really got to be kicking yourself in the dick a little bit.
Ah, dude, the guy's done it already.
The end goal is to do it at home. You know what I mean? Obviously, he didn't care much to do it as a Tampa Bay Lightning. He'd rather do it as a Detroit Red Wing. So, I mean, more power to him for having the balls to know what's coming and just say, you know what, my end game and my goal is in front of me, and that's Detroit and walking to Detroit. Because, I mean, we could go over it all day, but what a roster. And I just don't see how the Islanders can really come back in this series. I hate to say.
The thing is like, I mean, we're not talking the same record that we're talking about between Vegas and Dallas, right? With tight games, 3-2, 1-0, 2-1. Like, listen, the Lightning blew up the Islanders 8-2. I mean, the Islanders came back 5-3, but like
that a little bit before we bashed them for getting blown up 8-2. I mean,
they came back 2-1 and then 5-3, right?
You run right into a series after you let up. You're up 3-1. You let up. You go all the way to 7. You have a huge game 7 and a huge emotional high after a giant emotional low of giving the 2 games up. Now all of a sudden you come back into a game where it's probably, let's be honest, you played hockey. How easy is it to win a game 7 and then a night and a half later you're running into a building for the Eastern Conference Final against a team that is chomping at the bit to get back on the ice, and you're still a little tired from a huge game 7. You're physically and emotionally drained probably going into game 1.
Let's just for the fans out there, when you're riding high and you have victories, and I look back to a season with JG and we played for the New Jersey Wildcats. We were literally 11 games. We were 11 games out of playoffs with only 14 games left in the season. We won all 14 fucking games. And the last game of the season was against the team we needed to beat to get into playoffs, Buffalo. Beat them, get into playoffs at the 4 seed. We're playing the number 1 seed team that had literally lost 1 game all year, and they were just riding high, coming in hot. And who was it? Who was that team, JG? It was the Virginia Statesmen, and we fucking spank them, right? We stank them game 1.
Remember that kid on their team? He had like 160 points.
Nick Nemchek, dude. Nick Nemchek.
Nemchek, and he never went anywhere.
Because me, Zerbo, and Nemchek were all the top 3 in the league that year. So we were all.
Nemchek had literally like 80 more points than anybody else. It wasn't even.
No, he had 94 points. I had 57, and Zerbo had like 75. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, he had 95 points in 36 games. It was literally dumb, right?
He was scoring 4 points a game, and then I ended up just for the fans, since we're going to talk about this kid who never went. I hate to say it. I hope you're doing well, pal. I really do, because you were a hell of a fucking player. You're
hell of a fucking player. Yeah.
I played against him in junior B, and I don't know what happened. He just never really. That was like his. It was almost, listen, kind of same for me. I mean, it wasn't my pinnacle. It was probably my highest point scoring and success of a season that I ever saw junior wise. After that, I moved on to play with bigger and better kids in bigger and better leagues, and I had to kind of find a different role. But just looking back on like that, remember how, like you said, they were riding a high. They're probably almost
riding a high.
Almost undefeated for the season.
They beat us every single game that year, 6 times, 6-0 against us. They walked into that arena thinking it was over.
They were gonna win 10-0.
Bro, they took out an article in the newspaper after they won the season saying they were going to nationals. Never went to nationals because we actually smoked them in districts. And bro, it happens all the time. You see it in the league, right?
We ended up winning the league.
You see it in the NHL.
They won the league. Like President's Trophy, like they didn't win the league. They only had the most points. We won the league. We beat them in that was the round robin for us to go to nationals. We beat them. We won the league.
Right. So again, they won the Presidents. We won the conference finals. We went to nationals. It was an unbelievable story.
And let's be honest, that was a great round robin. I mean, we lost a game in that round robin to the Moose, only to go on and play them again in the semis. We were 2-1.
I had a beautiful goal. I scored the one that game. I came off the bench, sniped it top right, so I don't know what to tell you.
And then yeah, well, usually when you did that, it was off a fucking beautiful pass from my stick. So let's be honest here.
Intercepted the puck. They were trying to ice
our
it.
own horns, let's be honest. I did create a beautiful bicycle play for us, and it really worked. It was fantastic. Donald Trump would have called it fantastic and amazing.
the greatest play ever. But I do have to say, like,
to ever make hockey. It was fantastic.
Getting back to these games though, the Stanley Cup games, I
Very excited about tonight.
I don't see it though. I don't see Tampa Bay riding a high. I believe them getting down to business. I kind of think the Islanders might steal a game here. We'll go to game 6, but I think Tampa Bay still puts it away in 6. And we're going to see Tampa Bay and Dallas in the Stanley Cup. And
I agree.
I think it's going to be incredible.
100%. I do really think that Tampa Bay is going to close it out tonight. I think the Islanders are depleted. I do want to root for the Islanders tonight because I do want to watch more hockey. But this Tampa Bay team, night in and night out, just shows me more and more. Even the night they lost, they didn't lose. They didn't look bad losing, and they skated off the ice with not even – like nobody was concerned. Everybody was just like, it is what it is. Go to the locker room. We're going to skate tomorrow morning, and we're going to win the next game. And that's it. And it's just very businesslike. It's very well put together. It just doesn't seem like they're like it. Like when the Islanders won that game 3, like to me, when they're scoring goals, it's like they're winning the Stanley Cup. Like
listen, the best Selly all playoffs was Ron Cooper after that overtime win. Did you see him on the bench just give just trying to rip the lawnmower up?
I love that. Like you're seeing these guys. They're happy, they're excited, but they're just
coaches are even nuts.
Players are very, very businesslike. They're very. It's just a well-oiled machine at this point. It's not, there's no kinks in the armor, and the boys are rolling. It's incredible to watch. It really is. I don't even see a scenario where if they go to the Cup, they could lose. I don't think that Dallas matches up with them well. It could go either way. It could go that Tampa.
I said that against Colorado. I said that against Las Vegas. I have no idea.
I think Tampa Bay is that much faster. I think they are a step faster than Dallas. I think Vegas was a great matchup for Dallas because they played the same game. It's not that it's sluggish, but it's not extremely speedy. You know what I mean? It's like, and I just think that this Tampa Bay team plays a speedy, physical game from line 1 to 4. Your slowest guys, Patrick Maroon, and the rest of the line can skate. You know what I mean?
Let's just say this. You look at the total point leaders in the playoffs right now, the the top 3 that are tied right now.
Got to be in there.
No. Nikita Kucherov, 25. Braden Point, 25 points. Nathan McKinnon, 25 points. Miro Heiskanen, number 4, 22 points. So Miro Heiskanen's up there, 22 points, but the top 2 people other than Nathan McKinnon in the playoffs right now, the best 2 performers are Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov, all on the same team. That to me speaks numbers. That speaks numbers a little bit.
Huge. So I mean, I'm just at a point where I'm sold on the Tampa Bay Lightning. It took me all playoffs long to figure out who it was, but it's the Lightning, and it's
the New York Lightning. I don't know why you keep calling them Tampa Bay Lightning. New York Lightning are going to be great.
Look, JT Miller's still rounding out the top 10 of playoff point leaders. 18 points. Him and Pedersen.
Dude, just the fact that Nathan McKinnon is even on that list with like 4 less games than anybody else is freaking ridiculous.
10 point leaders. That's great.
And he has 4 less games played than anybody else too. Like his points per game is ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. You gotta love JT Miller.
Nathan McKinnon, 15 games played, 25 points. Braden Point, 16 games played because of the injury, 25 points.
Wow, Braden Point. I did not know that.
Yep, same as McKinnon. Kucherov, 17 games played, 25 points right there. And Mikko Rantanen had 15 games, 21 points.
That's what I'm saying. Between Colorado.
Josh Bailey in the top 5?
Yeah.
Oh, this is only forwards. This is no D. Top 5 forwards. He's 20 points, 20 games played.
But you still look at that.
18 points, 15 games.
The
Colorado's got
Lightning,
3 forwards in the top 10 forwards.
the Lightning had number 1 and 2, right? So I mean, you take that, and I really think that with those two people, and then you add Stamkos, I mean, the Lightning are unbeatable.
Ryan having a quietly nice playoff. Fucking 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points.
9 goals
played. JT Miller, 17 games played, 18 points. Impressive.
That's what I mean. So you look at back at the playoffs. You look at back at who's producing, and number 1 and number 2 comes right from Tampa Bay, and that's all you want. Who's hot? Vasilevsky, Kucherov, Braden Point. That's what you need right there. Hedman too. Hedman has 13 points. He's not doing bad. He's still producing. He's getting goals.
I don't see Tampa Bay losing. I just don't.
Yeah. So you calling them tonight? I think it's going to take one more. I think the Islanders might be able to squeak this one out.
Islanders tonight. I think that they're a little just depleted and they're not happy, and I don't know how they're going to react. I would hope they win the game because I do want to see again another game. I would love to see 7 games. At this point, it doesn't even matter to me who plays in the Stanley Cup, obviously. I mean, whoever's left is left. I would rather not see the Islanders go to the Cup because I can't stand listening to their fans anymore. But, I mean, I like the roster. I've kind of fell in love with some of the players on the team, watching them go. And, you know, they've had a great playoff. I just don't see a scenario where this Tampa Bay team loses. So I am calling it. Before we even get into our Stanley Cup prediction, I'm just going to give you a hot take. Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games to win the Stanley Cup.
We gotta light the lamp, and luckily for me that this is the Tampa Bay goal horn. So Joe JG is lighting the lamp, calling the Tampa Bay Lightning as the Stanley Cup champions in episode 18 of Lighting the Lamp. It's happening right now.
Okay, even though we are going to do our predictions, and I am going to tell you the same thing again, I just wanted to let everybody know that right here, right now, after staring at this piece of paper for 45 minutes, and just realizing how disgusting this hockey team is and how unfair that somebody was smart enough to put a roster like this together over the amount of time they did.
Listen.
Scary. I just don't see a scenario.
Rosters get made like this all the time. I mean, I don't want to bring it to football, but look at the fucking Cleveland Browns where you have basically everything you could ever want in terms of an offense, and it does jack shit. And right now, this is an offense that – they signed everyone and everyone's producing. Not all the time does that happen when your players all come together and all produce. That's it. And guess what? They could have – and the Rangers did it for how many years, Joe, where we signed all these great fucking players that did absolutely jack shit for us, right?
Remember the early 2000s? We were supposed to win 19 cups. Never happened.
Never happened.
Never.
So – you know, the fact that all these players are playing, you know, I think goes to more of what you said, is they identified players that were playing in places that maybe was a little bit, I don't know, maybe like Blake Coleman, not a first line forward, right? Like you go and find out good pieces that fill out the right roles, and then all of a sudden you have a team that can't be beaten, right? So
like, dude, Andre Palat, haven't even
he's been unbelievable for a year.
Got 11 points over his last 9 playoffs games, and he's got, including 8 goals that have come over just the past 8 games. I mean,
dude, look who he's playing with. He's playing with freaking Braden Point and Kucherov. What is going to happen?
He was playing on a line before anybody even knew who Nikita Kucherov was. Before Nikita Kucherov had a 50-point season, Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, and Kucherov played on a line, and we knew who they were because they abused the Rangers in the playoffs for 2 years.
In 2014, they were 2015, 2016, 2017, they were probably one of the best lines in hockey for 4 years. 4 years.
They played against the Rangers in the conference final, I think it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely abused the Rangers. That was when Kucherov finally broke out, but Palat kind of quietly stayed in the background, and Tampa Bay never.
Killorn did the same thing.
Listen, Tampa Bay had Richard Panik, who at the time when they had him, I thought was a better player than Palat. And obviously Tampa Bay's brass knows what they're doing because they let Palat sit in the background and play on the 3rd and 4th line, and they let Panik go to the Blackhawks and 19 other teams because they didn't give a shit. And, you know, they keep these guys. It's just amazing that the more I look at the paper, you see the guys that they've held on to quietly. And look what Andre Palat's doing now. During the season, too, anytime there's an injury, he always steps up. He's always that piece, and that's a guy that they've held on to. They've had to have Andre Palat for 6 or 7 years.
I feel like he's kind of like I want to say a better Pat Maroon in terms of being a Swiss Army knife for them, where they just kind of be like, we
way
need you
more
here.
skilled than Pat Maroon ever was, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Pat Maroon, great player, hard nosed, decent comparison, but let's be honest, Andre Palat on the Rangers.
I mean, dude, there's a reason why he's on the first line and the other guy's on the fourth line, right? Like, let's be honest, there is a disparity, but
here's the thing about him is he is a Swiss Army knife because John Cooper will put him on the fourth line. He'll take him off the first line tonight and put him on the fourth line and put Pat Maroon on the first line if that's what works. And Palat will go down and he'll play a fourth line role. So he's a high-end Swiss Army knife, one that if the Tampa Bay Lightning can't sign him to a big deal, if I were the Rangers, I would be all over that. Speaking of the Rangers looking at guys on the Lightning, I would be all over that one right there. That would be a must pick.
It's time for the Tampa Bay Rangers to come into effect here. We created the New York Lightning, the Tampa Bay Rangers.
They should just merge and put their best team on the ice at all times. And just play.
The best team goes to New York. The shittiest team goes to Tampa.
21 games in Tampa Bay, 21 games in New York, 46-man roster, best 23 play every night.
Dude, that reminds me of, that shitty situation the Rockets put us in where they tried to, after that tryouts, they were like, okay, everyone's too good. We want to create two teams. There's this team and the other
team.
Well, dude, that was going to be our team, unfortunately. And we were just like, we're good.
Well, it honestly would have been still a pretty good fucking hockey team because a lot of kids were going to end up
to the Rockets. Everyone wanted to go to the Rockets. We were the powerhouse at the time, so it didn't matter. But that's a little bit off track there. But okay, so we're both on the Lightning. We're both hoping the Islanders go one more game. I
hope the Islanders win 5-0 tonight, and we're looking at a game 6 tomorrow. I don't care how it goes down. I would love to see a game 6, a game 7 if possible. But again, off my hot take, I just don't see a scenario where anybody left beats this team.
Yeah, well,
just don't see it.
I think that's where we.
Said that about Vegas, and Dallas beat them in 5. So, I mean,
yeah.
After what I just said, watch out, fans, because the Islanders are going to win in 7 and win the cup.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, we can't call anything.
The Isles in 7.
We can't call shit here at the Lamp, unfortunately. So, but I think that's really all we have to cover. Honestly, out of all the episodes we've done, JG, we've only had 2 series to cover, and we just absolutely blew it out of the water just talking about just how much hockey going on between these two teams, just the powerhouses we're seeing with all the players that over playoffs that just have come out and just absolutely dominated just all over the ice. And at this point, just any kind of wrapping thoughts up for the fans that we want to kind of go into before next episode. I know we got some content coming up, but how about you kind of sign us off here and let the fans know what's coming up?
Yeah, well, we do have some stuff. We're going to do some trade, some trade talk and some more of the, obviously all these awards are coming out. You're going to have the Vezina coming up here and stuff like that. So we're going to do some award talk. We have a lot of stuff coming up here content-wise. Try to keep you guys engaged. We know you guys like the short videos a little more, it seems like, than probably some of the longer stuff. We just can't help ourselves when we're drinking beers and getting into all this great hockey talk. But other than that, man, we have plenty of content coming up throughout the weekend. To be honest, we're probably going to turn and burn right into episode 19 and 20 here this week because once this series ends, we're going to have to talk Stanley Cup predictions. Everything coming up, all the players on both teams, rosters, and things like that.
What's funny is we got a little bit into the predictions, talking about what we want to see in the next round, stuff like that. But we'll definitely get into a new video kind of talking about all that stuff. And, what we really want to bring to you is all that general NHL knowledge, trades, acquisitions, injuries, anything that's really going on around the league. I know
to bring a little bit more because obviously, the season is ending here. We got Stanley Cup coming up probably in the next 5 days to 7 days. So, you're going to be looking at not much to talk about after that series.
Whoa. Hey, baby. Think about where we are. We are in a different time, right? Because, right now, what is it, September 15th?
Right back into a season. So, we're going to have –
the draft is October 6th, October 7th, October 8th.
All I'm saying is we're going to have plenty of stuff that we'll figure out to talk about. I mean, we have a lot of stuff coming up. There's going to be a lot of awkward trades going on, obviously, in a weird time because you're not used to it happening right now. They're happening in the middle of the playoffs. They're going to come burning in any day here once the cup is over and some of these teams are out. There's a lot of rumors on the mill. There's a lot of stuff going around. So we're going to have plenty to talk about. We're going to figure a whole bunch of new episodes and little videos and clips. So, anything you could do to help, like, share, follow, any of that stuff, we'd appreciate it. And, we're going to keep it moving here. And we're going to probably jump right into something tonight or tomorrow morning for you guys with a little award content, maybe some trade talk, little 15, 20-minute video. So we'll be back really quick this week. And then obviously once this series ends, we have another episode coming up. So probably a lot of content before the end of this week you're going to have popping up here with us. So very excited to keep it going. And, I'm going to let you get back into your work day. Don't let your boss see you drinking those beers. I'm off today. I'm taking the pups out to the park. Going to do a little podcast stuff for us. Got a meeting today for some social media stuff with a few people. So things are moving along here with the Lightin the Lamp pod. And just bear with us, man. We're working hard and we're going to make it work. That we promise you.
All right. Well, fans, it was great. It was great talking to you, JG. It was great talking to you, fans. And just if you're out there, believe in blue, believe in the Rangers. And, we're going to be coming at you with more content. But just please like, share, comment, and, on this video. So, we know you're getting engaged and we can get engaged with you. But great talking with you, fans, and hope you have a great rest of the day out there. Cheers.
Salute.